Fuck it, we'll
So
do it
from-
live.
Do it in post.
Well, I like the end of the last
Yeah.
episode was last thing people heard was me saying, "Do the bit."
And we didn't do the bit because I was
And
so
we didn't
sick.
do the bit.
Hey, everyone. We didn't do the bit. So say goodbye, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
Goodbye, Kevin.
All right. So there's the bit from last time. That's a
So
leftover.
this
Hi,
time,
everyone.
This time you get 2 bits. That's the thing that Americans will misunderstand.
Shave and a haircut. 2 bits.
Woo.
Yeah.
Wrong in a
Yankee
bit.
Doodle Song, the American. See, I've been listening to way too much hip hop this weekend. I'm just making like connections with
Also,
language
you know where the phrase
everywhere.
2 bits
What have you
come
been
from?
listening to?
Where does the phrase 2 bits come from?
Well, this can be actually fuck it. That can be my pub quiz question then, because I do know the answer to that.
Right,
2
everyone.
bits.
Here's the first. There's your first pub quiz question from Kevin, who hasn't actually formally introduced himself, and we haven't even introduced our special guest.
Who gives a fuck
So
about
back
it?
up.
Time to fuck off.
Everyone, give him some room. The one, the only, Michael Row. You're about to show Rowlands.
Rowlands, the shore boat. Hi.
Yes.
And we got him on the ground floor because once he goes to MythCon, he's going to go fucking interstellar.
I'm gonna be out
Yeah.
of here, out of town. I'm probably gonna get assassinated.
Yes.
Pretending like he never even fucking knew us.
Kristi,
I know
who?
it's not.
So.
Kristi Summers? Christina Hoff Summers.
Yeah, I know her.
Christina Hoff Winters. That needs to be a character.
That's funny. That is funny.
Welcome to the happy hour, Michael.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
It's been a
It's
long
nice to have
time.
you on. So,
That's what
while
she
we're
is,
doing
isn't it?
that, let's finish up. Kevin, what was the answer to your question? And then we'll go to Michael's, and then we'll give a delay. So I don't know what people are doing in the chat. I got too much to keep track of tonight. So, but
Well,
what was the answer to your question?
The American slang expression 2 bits, which I believe means is it a quarter? That's a slang term for a quarter, 25-cent coin. Comes from the old Spanish dollar, which used to be stolen by pirates and cut into pieces of 8, another piratey phrase, and you would be given 2 bits as a quarter of the booty.
Well, it's not it was cut, like physically cut, or
Yeah,
like,
physically cut into eight separate pieces, because essentially it was the value of the
Like
metal.
a pizza.
right. Yeah, they got out a pizza cutter, sliced it up.
Well, you've made piracy seem delightfully tasty.
Yeah. Imagine if currency was actually pizza, like if our currency was pizza. And
I would
you
happily be
paid-
paid in pizza, but unfortunately my mortgage would not be paid in pizza. So,
Also, can we just tell Americans that everybody in the world thinks it's funny that you give your coins, we give our coins names?
Yeah,
What's
that is weird.
What sort of names?
Yeah. Like a nickel, a
I
dime.
also
right,
think
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
elected a rapist, but whatevs.
Well, scale, man. I'm starting small
I
today.
mean, well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's some things are
That's
worse.
what
than
she
others.
said.
Let's put it that way.
What's happening? Oh,
Welcome to the happy hour, Michael. You haven't been
Hi.
watching our show, have you?
I've been busy. I've been so busy. I
Fair
haven't been
enough.
able to
Exactly.
do
You've been
anything.
away making valuable contributions to the lives of young people. You actually should be quite proud.
What a terrible person I am. Jesus.
No, what
I'm
terrible
not
people
used to
we are.
sincerity, so I even had to say that sarcastically. But
So, Michael, what was your pub quiz question? I'm trying to keep some order in this chaos, everybody. Welcome
that
to the
noise.
jungle, baby.
Okay. Mine's kind of obscure, I suppose, but my question was, who hired the assassin to kill Bran Stark in the first Game of Thrones book?
I don't even know what that
Oh.
is. I don't
Yeah,
even.
Yeah, those are words
I-
you don't
I
understand.
forgot
Kevin.
about this. I remember having this conversation with you, Kevin, because it was me and Lady Columbia and someone else, and we had like a Game of Thrones hangout, and Kevin was there, and he'd never read the books or seen the show, and we were just blah 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 blah
Why
blah
was
blah
I
blah.
there? What?
Yeah, you were there.
This
I
might have
remember you
been a
coming
dream.
in, and we were talking about no. I swear to God, it's on my channel. We were talking about like it went for like 4 hours. It was
Why
ridiculous.
the fuck did I join that then? I must have been
I don't know.
drunk. I
We
must
were
have
talking
been.
about talking about fiction and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we just decided to have this kind of hangout about fiction stuff, and we did a lot of posturing about postulating about Game of Thrones and the things that happened and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to guess Osama bin Laden.
Fair. That's a fair.
Was
It's a fair guess.
I mean, that would be a bold fucking storyline choice that the writers made.
Just
Went with
out
that
of
line.
nowhere. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Long enough.
Hitler came in from the left field and started killing
Twist.
dragons.
Probably.
Just massive twist. Yep. And then Darth Vader showed up and lightsabered his face off.
But you didn't see the M. Night Shyamalan ending. Oh, it's all over the place.
The director's cut. Yeah.
So what was the answer? I think we've dawdled long enough.
Some people in the chat got it right. It's Joffrey. He steals the dagger from his dad, well, not his dad, but from the king, and gives it to an assassin. And he's trying to impress his dad, but we don't find out until a couple of books later. But yeah, he.
Well, this doesn't even count as a question because you're asking us about things that didn't happen.
No, it's technically written
It's
down.
general knowledge. It's general
One can
knowledge.
look it up. Yeah, don't blame us. Don't hate on us for your cultural blind spots. Remember who brought you Rick and Morty.
Well, all I'm going to say is, if it's general knowledge, Kristi, because general knowledge. Come on now.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of word.
Well, I mean, before we even move on to it, I came up with what I think are the 2 best puns in the history of the world this week, and I'm very proud of them.
Go on then.
Firstly, someone said I posted a new avatar of me looking with a silly face for my Facebook and Twitter profile picture.
Yeah.
And someone put underneath as a comment on the Facebook one, the face you pull if you see Paul Joseph Watson buying groceries, to which I replied, imagine my shop.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. I'll reveal the other one later. I'll leave you hanging on that one.
I have a really good pun that I tell all my friends. This is one of my favorite jokes. Do you know that you can't run through a campsite? You can only ran because it's past tense.
Hey.
Rotor.
But
all right. So my pub quiz question out to the chat. You guys are getting spoiled tonight. And by the way, can we get a round robin of fuck yous to the chat?
Fuck you, chat. Fuck you,
there you go. You guys feel love now.
Especially Tom.
Right.
Fuck Tom.
Yeah, especially Tom. Fuck you
Always.
so much.
Kevin fucks Tom so much every week. Right. Where was coffee?
You had to take it to a pure old place. I was showing love, and you took it. You're a pervert.
I'm the pervert, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So where was coffee first invented? I had discovered, but you don't discover a plant. Like it was there. Yeah. You just invented something that you already knew about. Anyway.
Well, yeah, that actually reminds me. I remember having a conversation once with an idiot who I was talking about Isaac Newton, and he said, "Is that the guy who invented gravity?"
Oh! I had someone on Twitter say that Einstein is a metaphysicist. I was like, "What do you think metaphysics is?" Because I haven't heard it used.
He was a mega physicist, but that's a slight.
True.
That's just an opinion, really.
This is like everyone in the chat's being like, "Fuck you, Kevin. Fuck you, Kristi," and they keep coming up for review. They're like, I wish this message.
Oh, dang it! I'm gonna wrench some people. I'll try to do it afterwards. Sorry, guys. I got busy trying to organize this chaos, and I forgot.
Wrench some people. It sounds like a mafia thing.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
We need a special term for it for the happy endings, though.
Anyway, where was coffee first invented? I'm going to say it was invented in London.
Seattle.
Not in London nor Seattle, no.
Yeah,
it was discovered.
It must have been in Seattle. That's where Starbucks started.
It was invented. Yes, not discovered. Invented in Ethiopia in the 11th century.
In where, sorry?
Are you telling me that brown people make coffee first?
Yeah.
Hang on,
thank brown people. Ethiopia.
Fake news.
Oh, okay.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Well,
apparently the apocryphal story goes.
I highly doubt that. Oh, come on. You can't breathe past my fucking Ethiopia pun. Jesus.
What was your Ethiopia pun?
I highly doubt that. Highly Gebrselassie. Never mind.
I don't know what that is.
Sports reference. Sporting reference. Just humor, Michael. It's what I do.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, sports. I'm not stupid about sports at all. I know all the
I know
sports.
sports. I can sports
Sports
for
ball.
days.
I've got my two Ethiopians mixed up anyway. I meant Haile Selassie, the former leader of Ethiopia, but Haile Gebrselassie,
Ah,
the
I'm so
former
offended.
Ethiopian runner. Yes, you're correct.
Oh
That's
yes.
what you get
Oh,
for
was that
having
the
two
chat?
similar names.
Is he that guy
dickheads.
who sports really hard? Like he took the sports and sportsed it until the sportsing was no needed to be sports
Well,
anymore.
look till we get on the fucking tennis, and I will have to fucking, I will have to give you a
Yeah,
full
we can
hand
just
smash.
at that point just go get a drink, use the toilet, whatever. Just come back 5
No,
minutes
I won't
later.
get-
Kevin's still gonna.
I will
It's like
just- I will-
it's like the bass solo in a in a jazz show when everyone goes and gets a beer and the bass player is doing his thing. It's the same as when Kevin's talking about sports.
Well, look, I didn't ask
All
for
right.
this illness. It happened. Right?
Hello.
Hello, sorry, I think it dropped out a little bit.
Oh geez.
So
Bass
that's all right.
solo. Speaking of bass solos, I went to see one of my favorite guitar players play in New York City when I was here. His name is Mike Stern. And he plays at this bar called the 55 Club pretty regularly. And the bass player and the drummer were just insanely good. It was great. It was very groovy.
You asked me what I was listening to. I was listening to Kamikaze, the Eminem drop.
Oh,
Like,
what
all
was
weekend
it?
long.
How was it?
Well, okay, so it's controversial. I mean, he is still stuck in the 90s. He still uses, there's one point where he uses the F word as an insult, and he got a lot of shit for it. So I think that's going to be the last time he uses it.
As in,
But,
like gay slur?
Yeah.
Right.
But this is interesting. He actually edited it out of his song. Like, even the explicit one on Spotify, you can't hear the word anymore. And he definitely did it on the video. So he's a guy. About 5 of the songs are 15 out of 10. And the other ones are like maybe 7 out of 10, which still makes it like a 12.5 out of 10. I mean, the
Okay.
stuff his flow. Oh my gosh. So, okay, can I just geek out on this a little bit? Because I've just fallen into hip hop and like through Hamilton, but then I started watching him.
We've been on very different tips because I've been on a very much a kind of Fleetwood Mac binge over the last.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
We've been in
Nice.
different places, you and I, Krista.
Yeah.
Very. I'm down with the kids, Kevin.
Yes,
all about that
yes.
flow.
Eminem is so contemporary. Absolutely.
Well, you say that,
Well,
but
he's
so there's
actually- yeah.
the big rivalry. Well, there's lots of rivalries, but there is a
Sorry,
big
I'll say, is it
rivalry.
2003 again. I've must
Mm. Yes, wake up, old man. Mumble rap, which is this new, it's very cut down, basic. You can't even understand the words they're saying, and it's all about the hook and the rhymes and.
It's like such a white person from the 90s.
Right?
Then you can't even
Right.
understand the words.
But then the other side of it are the lyricists, the people who kind of came up really appreciating people who put time and thought into the words
Why are
they
they
use
always
and use
grabbing their
wordplay.
crutches? This is silly.
Yeah. And what Eminem does on this album is he takes a lick, a sort of a riff or a sound used by modern mumble rap, and he kind of does their mumble rap on top of it. And then to show them how much more they can do with their music, kind of like what Bach does with, was it contrapoint in a fugue or whatever? He does like 8 or 9 or 12 different flows all on top of that same beat. I mean, like, this is, we have nothing in common because this is what I do with music. What do you do with music? And it's so like, it's amazing.
I'm
So
sorry,
that was my geek out.
How could that
You
be
should-
worse than me talking about sport? I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Hold on a second, because I actually enjoy talking about hip hop. Thank you very much, Kim. No, there's 2 things that I want you to do, Kristi. One of them, there was an article I read. Oh, it was years ago now, but it was a guy who kind of analyzed the extent of vocabulary within a whole bunch of different rappers. Canons, I suppose, and like plotted them out and drew some conclusions and stuff from them. And that was really interesting. He also wrote a really good article about Outkast and how they fit into hip hop, especially considering the places where hip hop was very big, like the East and West Coast. They were more like, because they were from Georgia, right? And so they, the difference in how they create their music, especially when the places where hip hop were very, not so. I mean, now we're kind of all over the place, but there were those kind of 2 centers back in the 90s or the early 90s. With the East and West Coast rappers, and these guys obviously came up from the South, so they had these very different, distinct sounds. And so that was a really interesting article, which I think is worth reading. And third of all, I think you should listen to Aesop Rock. He's incredible. He's the guy I've been listening to recently as a rapper, and he's from Seattle, and he's a white dude, but his flow is incredible. The reason I thought of him was because of this.
Seattle.
Yeah, true. But the reason I thought of him was because the thing that I talked about with the guy who plotted all the extent of these people's vocabularies is he did that, and then like the dude right at the top, far away from everyone else, is Aesop Rock, because he's just got such an incredible, diverse range of stuff that it's poetry. It's amazing poetry that he puts to these cool beats, and yeah, it's worth it.
Well, as a consequence, so I was watching people react, like a lot of people from the hip hop community react to rock, and watching their reactions to Queen is especially just delightful. But also watching them to react to like Bulls on Parade or other stuff from Rage Against the Machine, it blows their mind, right? Because it's a hip hop mixed with rock, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing. But they were doing stuff about the Eminem reaction, so I started watching their videos to react to him because I know Eminem, so I have a frame of reference, and through them I'm learning about a lot of other artists. Yeah, but the reaction videos on this have been phenomenal. So what I would recommend, if anyone wants to go check this out, go to Spotify and listen to the album in order. Normal is like the one bad song in the start. Basically, listen to like the first 6 or 7 songs. Normal's not that great. Stepping Stone is pretty retro, but the other ones you're gonna know which ones are amazing. Or in the Spotify list, just listen to the top 5 that everyone else is listening to. Those are the best songs. But if you do them on the album, do them in order, because he puts them in order for a reason. And yeah, just prepare to have your mind blown. Like it's just rap god level stuff, you know.
I assume you've listened to Kendrick, right? Like if you listen to Damn.
Like yeah. So I'm going down this rabbit hole now. But we're on a conversational rabbit hole. So I want to wrap this up and bring it back.
Totally.
So we have a new segment. I guess we did it because we had the poll and we were missing some content. So thanks, guys, in the Facebook group, which you can join if you want to by going to our Facebook group and looking up Kristi and Kev's Happy Hour and the Happy Endings. But we did a poll asking what they wanted to talk about, and you sarcastic motherfuckers came up with the number 1 question up for discussion. Comes from Micheal B. And he asks, are muffins just self-hating cupcakes? Kevin, what do you think? So, all right, Michael?
Well, first of all, I need a definition for muffin and cupcake, because I don't really know what the difference is, to be honest.
I did not expect to hear tonight. I'm going to need the definition for muffin and cupcake.
Sea lion.
Exactly.
I
don't answer the damn question, Peterson.
I can't answer the question if I don't know what the things are. I mean, when I think of a muffin or a cupcake, I think of a tiny cake.
Well, actually,
with stuff in it.
You're just you're proving Jordan Peterson right. You postmodernists just want to redefine everything. Cupcake and muffin have been known to be what they are for centuries, and now you want to come along and make
you've used the terms way too much. The terms are now so ambiguous that they don't have any meaning.
Okay, there are more than 2 pastries.
Snowflake.
Have you seen? Do you know Ross Noble?
Well, not personally, but I know of him. He's very.
But you've seen his bit about finding faces in muffins. Have you seen that?
I have not. No. I imagine it's real.
But I will. Yeah.
He's talking about how he likes to go to muffin stores and pick up muffins and then try to find a face in the muffin. And so you made that sound slightly more like a sexual expedition than it needed to be. He goes to muffin shop, he picks up muffins, he takes them back to their place, and has his way with them. No, he does it in the muffin store, and he gets a bit of a groove going. He goes, "There's a face, next muffin."
Is this some sort of Ross Noble muffin Me Too moment? Is that what we're
Say again?
Is this some sort of Ross Noble muffin-based Me Too moment?
The muffins that have come forward to accuse Ross Noble.
Well, exactly. They've stayed quiet for decades, which means they're quite stale now. Let's be honest, if they've been around that long.
Yes, this is exactly what it is.
All right. So, second question. So that was a top question. We're gonna do the top 3. Second question comes from the honorable member from Birmingham, Kevin Logan.
Oi, oi.
Is anything a dildo if you're brave enough?
What are you
To which I have to say, an absolutely unequivocal yes.
Well, again, do we need to define what a dildo is? Is that
A thing meant to be inserted into the body for sexual stimulation.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
actually, you know, like a lot of other things could classify. You could repurpose them as dildos, but that's not their primary function.
That is the very core of the question, Kristi.
Yeah, but let's be honest. No matter how brave you are,
what I'm asking here is anything potentially a dildo. In the same way that anything can be art, can anything be inserted for
no, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how brave you are. You're not going to get a Volvo up there or a Mercedes.
You don't have to stick a hole in there, do you? But you could go.
Well, if it's a matchbox,
Exactly,
if it's a matchbox car,
handbrake insertion.
think outside
maybe?
the box.
Yeah, but the handbrake's not the whole car, is it? You know, so you're not going to.
You don't still the whole dildo in there, otherwise you get stuck. You mental case. For retrieval purposes.
Yeah, but the question was, can anything be a dildo? So, no, not anything, because there are certain things that is just physically impossible.
I would recommend against a light bulb.
Oh, yep, very fair. It's like that guy, that meme from the internet from years and years and years ago with the guy putting the jar up his butt.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that was that. I only remember it because I didn't actually see the original, but like someone had put googly eyes on his butt cheeks. So when it's like the eyes are looking pretty pleasurable for the first little bit, and then the glass breaks, and the eyes are just like, oh shit, they like go.
I can't remember the stand-up group, but it was quite a funny bit where they essentially stood there like a bit of wood on stage, and they had the arse talking by lifting the leg up and down. And at one point, he sticks one of his bollocks back between his legs and goes, "Oh no, I've got a cold sore," which is sort of terrifying and ridiculous at the same time.
Oh jeez.
Well, actually, the bollocks reference actually segues nicely into our bronze winner of the night, which comes from Robin. I won't shout out your last name because I don't want to dox you if you don't want to be known. Which cult leader is worse? Which cult leader is worse on whatever metrics you want, or various metrics? Jordan Peterson or Stefan Molyneux?
Peterson.
Oh, why?
Molyneux. I'll go Molyneux.
Oh, okay. All right. So fight.
Molyneux's really dangerous with his white supremacy shit. Whereas Jordan
All right.
Peterson's
no, Kevin. Michael started with his opening gambit, so let him make his case.
I think Peterson's worse because
he's the guest.
I think Peterson's worse because of his mainstream success. He's like his ideas and his rhetoric and everything's very insidious and easy to get sucked into because he's got such a broader reach. Everyone knows that. General like normal people like my mum, because Peter Molyneux was coming to New Zealand, right? And she heard about him, and normal people are like, okay, this guy's obviously an awful person, and we should, because it's obvious that he's a white supremacist dickhead. But on the surface, like if you'd never heard of Peterson before, you might just be mistaken for thinking that he's just a self-help dude that wants to help out the boys or whatever. But
30 seconds.
What's that?
30 seconds to wrap up.
I'm done. Yeah, no,
all right.
I think that he's more.
Okay, so now everyone step back. Okay, right. So there we go. There's a first argument. Kevin, your rebuttal.
I accept the point you make about the broadness of his appeal, but Stefan Molyneux is far more insidious in that he has actually led people away from their families into a cult mentality where they've fucked up their entire lives. They've cut off all contact with their family and support network, and like I say, completely and utterly ruined their lives. Whereas Jordan Peterson is a dickhead, but is mostly benign. Whereas,
but doesn't
Stefan Molyneux? Excuse me, I didn't interrupt you. You fucking bastard. These people, these other people that exist on my planet. Jesus. Where was I fucking going? I've lost my track. Bollocks to it. I'm done.
Sorry.
All right. So that sounds good. I'll let you each have like a quick rebuttal, but people in the chat, 1 for Michael, 2 for Kevin. Who do you think is more of a cult leader? Peterson or Molyneux?
That's out of order.
Because you're number 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you went second.
I just think that, like, in a sense of like reeling people in and and reach. If I mean, again, it depends on how we're defining what's worse. Because yeah, sure, Stefan might have ruined more people's lives, but I think having that wider reach and that the insidious nature of having him, dragging more people into the.
Also, just another point. I suspect Peterson is something of a flash in the pan. In a couple of years, he'll be sort of gone from the scene by and large.
Yeah,
Whereas Molyneux is going to do this until the day he dies, basically. He's going to continue being this poisonous fucking piece of shit.
Did you see him like telling family members to cut off family members if they bought Nikes?
Yeah, yes, absolutely, yeah.
Easy. All right, so my verdict is, since Robin was kind enough to say not specify a metric, I think that you both win on your own points. Michael, you're right. Peterson,
this is no, it's a hug box. Kindergarten, Kristi.
No, it's my time now. I get the mic. Yeah, you've got a point. I mean, Peterson has a far wider reach, and he can also shape minds earlier on because of that reach and direct them in dangerous ways. But you're right. But Kevin also has a good point that in terms of toxicity, Stephen Molyneux, he's just saying it out loud.
Good album.
Okay,
there you
we're
go.
Nearly half an hour in, and we haven't actually talked about either of the things we were going to talk about.
That's because we're having such a great time, Kevin. Just go with it.
Yeah. I'm just saying we should probably get on to talking about them at some point.
Okay. Well, let's just do everything you want to.
Well, don't say that, because you will end up with some severe pains. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you'll enjoy yourself, but you will fucking regret it in the morning.
Are we going back to these dildos, are we?
Yeah, we're going with, is Kevin a dildo? Let's find out.
Well, speaking of dildos, oh, sorry, I was going to try to segue to Bruce V.
Yeah, no, let's do that. Mine was a stupid point. Speaking of dildos,
go on, then, Kristi.
Yeah, well, actually, I was going to kick it over to Michael because I had asked him to pull the story up. But yeah, it was another day of waking up to good news. I woke up and found out that Amazon had pulled 9 of Rush V's book off of their site because he's a rapist. He's admitted to raping women. He's admitted to, like weighing this up and being like, fuck it. So good. And this was covered briefly, but then we've later on I saw that there was a blog written on it by Dave Futrell in his blog. So I asked Michael if he would bring it up and get some of the highlights for us.
Do you want me to screen share it, or do you just want me to kind of read some stuff?
Oh, if you want to screen share it, that's fine. But just for the podcast, make sure you read out the interesting bits.
Okay. Well, I don't know which bits are interesting, but let's.
Maybe the first paragraph and usually the second, and then maybe scroll down to his whining. I can tell you.
Okay. Let's have a look. Can you see my screen?
Paragraph, because you decided to start. You sounded a bit Sargon then. The first paragraph.
Just read the first
do we have
couple
to
of words.
read past the headline, really?
Oh God.
No, I went all the way with 2 paragraphs. I'm doubling that Sargon.
Kristi definitely would type in 6 words into a search engine.
Oh God. Okay.
I love I love having a reason to put that clip up.
Did you see Mythcon jerking him off about how he's a rational, logical man?
Yeah, I retweeted it laughing about it because
ridiculous.
Well, I think, like, to be fair, I think that might be like his channel description that they've just copied and pasted. So I don't think it's necessarily the thing.
Fucking lazy as him, then. Cunt.
Yeah.
Yep. But go check out the ratio.
Have you seen? Yeah, I know the ratio is fantastic. Have you seen my description?
No.
Some ginger cunt from New Zealand. Who I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I could.
Yeah.
They let me write my own thing, and so I
massive penis.
He's got a huge cock. No, hold on. Let me. I'm going completely off track now, but hold on, here it is. Okay, Michael Rowlands, aka Music Man Mike, is a radical left cultural Marxist SJW YouTube personality that enjoys censorship and political violence. Personal heroes include Hitler, Stalin, and that dude from 1984. Nah, not that loser beta who gets cucked by the government. The brother guy with the cool mustache, and he plays a mean guitar.
Oh, and that's written next to a guy who's got a PhD, and I love that. I love that juxtaposition.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. He looks a prick though. I don't know. Who he is.
He looks a little bit like Dave from Computing Forever. Ugh.
He looked like Dave from Computing Forever, and Henk from Culture Shots had a baby. That would
Oh,
be.
yeah.
Don't do
Yeah.
that to Hank.
Oh,
Don't bring
poor
him into
Hank.
that.
No, Hank's a good-looking chap, and I'm not saying that Clay isn't. I'm just saying there's a mixture
No,
there.
but
isn't
you're
there?
coupling him with Dave computing forever, dude. That's just
Well,
that's
look,
low.
we've all had a
Like-
few too many and woken up next to some fucking Irish
Oh.
fashion. It's happened. Okay? We've all been there.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's not a good
No
time when you wake
judging.
up next to an Irish fascist.
All
Okay,
right,
you
so
want me to
anyway.
read this thing? Okay, let
Yeah,
me
you
let me
read.
read this thing. Okay, Amazon Book bans 9 of Rushvy's books. What did I say? Amazon Book. Amazon bans 9 of Rush. I can't even read Rushvy's books, and Rush is having a sad. Some good news to start off the week with Amazon has removed 9 PUA scuzz buckets. Rush, Valin.
Can I just stop? Well done, Dave, on Scuzzbucket. Kudos.
Yeah. I don't know how to say his last name. Valedzade's books from his. Sorry, Kevin. I haven't. It's not. Not all of us have.
Yeah,
experts
some
on
of
this
some of you haven't got an Iranian friend who you definitely didn't have to ask the pronunciation of. Definitely.
Okay. Books from its website, and Roosh, whose latest literary masterpiece dropped on Friday, isn't happy. In a blog on his, I can't read. In a post on his blog, he declares that Amazon has gone on a rampage and has banned the paperback and Kindle editions of 9 of my books, including my new release, Game.
Can I just point out the ridiculousness of him saying they're going on a rampage when they've banned 9 of his books but kept up about 30?
Has he still got a whole bunch of other ones?
He's still got a fuck. That's the vast majority of his books are still on sale on Amazon. So a rampage it is not.
Jesus, it's this whole victim mentality that these idiots have when they get punished for doing.
Also, as much as it's Amazon did something partially right. Also, fuck Amazon for still selling most of his fucking books.
I know it's pretty
fair enough.
Yeah. Where are we getting? The sales pages now give you an error message, despite repeatedly trying to get answers from Amazon via phone and email. They will not tell me why my books have been removed because you're a rapist. Rush has.
Should we just skip to the bit where we read out the quotes of him being a rapist?
Sure.
Yeah. If you scroll down a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
No, there's like a link further down the page. Examples
Kevin,
like these.
Do you want to just read it out?
Oh, examples like these. Okay.
Yeah, if you click on that, a different.
Rushvy's banned books: How to Guide for Rape.
Yes. And if you go down to the red quotes, it's quotes from Rush's books that show him to be a rapist.
Oh, I don't know if I want to read these out loud. Okay. Are Rush's banned books essentially how-to guides to date rape? Read some of the stories and decide for yourself. Trigger warning for the quotes that follow. The most notorious passages in any of Rush's Bang books come from Bang, Iceland, in which Rush describes sex with a drunk woman he ushered into his apartment after she had left behind her friends at a bar. While walking to my place, I realized how drunk she was. In America, having sex with her would have been rape since she couldn't legally give consent. It didn't help matters that I was relatively sober, but I can't say I cared or even hesitated. I won't rationalize my actions, but having sex is what I do. Ooh.
All I can say is, Rush, it's also illegal in Iceland.
Oh, I don't want to read any more of these. This hurts me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh.
He's gross.
That gives you a taste of the kind of person Rush is. He's a rapist. He also further down this one where he admits to inserting himself into a woman while she's asleep.
Mm.
And he has to get a bit physical in order to stop a woman from essentially escaping his clutches.
I wrote a song about Rush a bunch of years back when he was coming to New Zealand, and there was a big protest and all this sort of stuff. And I wrote a song about him and how awful he is. So you should listen to that.
Well, you'll have to give us a link to that, and
I will find it and I will send it to the thing. Rush needs to be shacked. Well,
no, Rush needs to be in prison for a long time.
He does.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's weird that he's got all this stuff that basically outlines that he is a rapist, like him saying it in his own words. And is that not something that we can use to Friggin'.
Well, I dare say, because it's been mentioned in Iceland at higher circle, I dare say if he ever went back to Iceland, he probably would be arrested and should be arrested. It's illegal.
Until the statute of limitations is up.
Well, very
Yeah.
possibly.
The song is called Rutby, Purveyor of Douchery.
I'm not an Icelandic legal expert. I can only apologise if I gave that impression.
Yeah.
I was quite happy with that rhyme, by the way.
Yeah, people should check that out. You did it in the private chat though, but you can post it as a comment.
I could put it as put it in the what do you call it? The description.
Yeah.
Give me some laughs. There you go. I apologize for the mix because I mixed it on like a demo version of the DAW I was using, so I wasn't able to like apply any compression or EQ or anything like that. But
means anything. You're just saying some words.
It'll sound like shit.
It's fine. It'll sound like it was filmed in a pub.
Oh yeah. So Chris, sorry to interrupt, but Chris sent us this thing she wanted us to talk about as well. So I don't know if we want to do that at some point too. I looked at it and it's awful.
Oh, great.
What?
Yeah. Well, so Chris linked me in this this tweet, and it's a video of Kristiosity. Sorry. So it's a video. Oh god. So it's a video on Twitter, and it's 3 bullies viciously attack a Muslim kid in West London whilst another looks on, laughing as he films it on his mobile phone. Get on your knees and pray to Allah, one of them says, as the cowards continue their assault. And Chris is just saying, you know.
Yeah, that's absolutely fucked up. Yeah. I haven't seen the thing there. But on the topic of Islamophobic pricks. Tommy Robinson, erstwhile EDL far right piece of garbage, has been his application to join UKIP has been denied.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the party that would have absolute fucking detritus like Sargon and Dankula and Paul Joseph Watson banned Tommy Robinson. When you're so scummy, you're seen as so much worse than Paul Joseph Watson. That is a time to, really have a sit down and think about what you're doing with your life.
Didn't Carl get initially denied?
No, that appears to have been some sort of 4chan trolly affair.
Oh, that's a shame.
But they let Milo in.
Yeah, they let Milo in. You're worse than the guy who advocates for men raping boys.
Yeah.
You're a bad person.
Tommy.
Indeed. Yes. So I just thought I'd throw that in there because
I really don't understand. I mean, he's just a violent football hooligan. Why does he have any sort of political?
I don't know. He talks about things that a lot of politicians find uncomfortable, and that appeals to a certain sort of people, but unfortunately it appeals to racists.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
Chances are, in terms of distribution of political views, people who tend toward fascism are just their views are going to be part of a population.
Yeah.
So the question is, how popular do they become, and what effect do they have?
It's just funny, like what people who would probably oppose a lot of the things that he says or does, or trying to distance themselves from that kind of rhetoric, will align themselves with him in the name of quote unquote free speech or whatever. Like all those people who did that like free speech rally or whatever. You'd think that aligning yourself with him would be like political suicide or like poisonous your political career because he's such a poisonous person. But people like Stefan Molyneux and Milo and all that sort of stuff are very happy to, and Sargon and Paul Joseph Watson and all that are all very happy to go along with that. Because free speech, I don't know, even though it's not free speech, it's just ridiculous.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yep. It's like saying, I want to, sure, Charlie Manson might be an awful guy, but free speech. I've got to stand up for what I believe in.
Yeah. Also, well, I'm trying to find a way to segue because you have the next story as well, Michael. Actually, so I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, I seem to be talking a lot. I apologize, but yeah, okay.
You're the guest.
I am the guest. Thank you. It's about a school in Georgia.
Not the country, the state.
No, in the state. So this is in America, the place that's supposed to be, winning all the time. Trump's the best president ever, and look at all the great things that he's done for this country, and look how amazing everything's going. So there's a school in Georgia, which is drawing national attention after sending consent forms to parents, informing them of their new policy of using paddling as a form of punishment for students. This is.
You don't mean they're going to be in canoe?
Put them in a kayak and send them upstream.
You mean hitting them with bits of wood?
Yeah, it's even got the paddle will be 24 inches in length, 6 inches width, and 3/4 of an inch in thickness. The form specifies parents will be notified if their child is to be paddled by an administrator, according to the form, which CBS News has not.
That's okay. I'm glad they're going to inform the parent that they're going to physically abuse their child with the parent's consent. Brilliant.
We're not talking about high school kids. We're talking kindergarten through 9th grade.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. And can I also just drop in here with some trivia from that article? So here's something for the chat. So it's legal in Georgia to do this, right? It's perfectly legal if they have the parents' consent for administrators or whomever to paddle kids. In how many other American states besides Georgia is this practice legal?
200.
How are you always right, Henry?
200.
I've got a gift. That's fine. Because each one of those stars counts as 7.
So here's something that will turn your stomach. A third of the parents signed the consent form and sent it back with their kid. A third.
Oh. 19 other states.
Yep, that's right.
Well, you looked it up.
Other states.
You definitely looked it up.
No, it's in the article.
It's in the article.
Well, exactly. Well,
that's where I got it from.
You cheated.
He read it. Yeah.
Sorry.
He read the link. He read the link he posted in our group chat. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I just wanted people to know that he didn't know that.
It's like that. Have you guys seen that?
Things.
You don't know that through osmosis, or just as osmose knowledge.
Do you know that you guys seen that Simpsons episode where the PTA disbands at the school, and so all the parents have to the teachers go on strike, and the townspeople have to be the teachers for the class, and one of the old guys that lives with Grandpa Simpson becomes the teacher for Lisa's class, and he's got a paddle, and he just stands up in front of the class. And he's like, speaking out of turn, that's a paddling. Don't do your homework. That's a paddling. Oh boy, that's a paddling.
Yeah, it's funny when it's not legal.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. It's Jasper.
It is funny. It is.
That's the paddling. Yeah. Oh Jesus! Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. It is a well-known, understood scientific fact that physical punishment to kids doesn't help, and it can increase rates of mental illness and things like that. I mean, when the person that you're supposed to trust and look up to, like a teacher or a parent or something, physically abuses you.
And of course it's cyclical. So if you beat your child, that child is more likely to grow up and beat their child, and so on. And not just that, but beat their spouse.
Because
physical altercation, because they're taught at a very young age, a very formative age, that violence is always the solution.
Yeah.
Can I just point out here? Can I just give a shout out to the other Gen Xers, because it really was our generation that started to question this and change the culture around it. Because boomers spanked. I got spanked. My brother got spanked. Everyone I know got spanked. But my friends, a lot of them are actively practicing not spanking and doing the timeout thing. And now that's becoming normal, so it is a generational thing, but it's also, like Kevin said, it's a personal history thing. And, depressingly in the article, some of the comments are like, oh, I'm so glad you're doing this. And, this is what's wrong. We don't have this in the schools. And it's just like, I feel like we're living in the Stone Age sometimes still. If
you can think of no other way to punish, or not even punish, to correct children's behavior than to hit them. Then
you shouldn't be in control of children.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have jurisdiction or whatever over children.
Well, I think
clearly not a children person.
No.
It summed up really well in the. I'm paraphrasing somebody else who said, "If the child is too young to be reasoned with, hitting them won't help. And
Yeah.
if the child is old enough to be reasoned with, why are you hitting them?"
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous.
So, boo Georgia school, whatever this is, and hopefully
Yeah,
it'll
fuck you,
actually
Georgia.
spark a
Well, it's one of these charter schools as
backlash.
well,
I don't
probably.
think there's any backlash on this.
You know, it's one of these charter schools, the ones that.
Oh gosh! Oh, the ones that taxpayers are paying for, and then like they get to teach whatever they want and screen out what kind of kids they want.
I think so.
Man, okay. Well, obviously we're all
God.
here. We're very anti-hitting kids. So
This is the thing here. Okay, let me just read this. So it says corporal punishment will be administered using a 3-strike policy. Good choice of words there. When a student is sent to the office for disciplinary purposes, a member of the administrative team will discuss the infraction with the student, notify the parents. Non-corporal punishment may be given at this time, and the student is warned of the future possibility of receiving a paddling if improper behavior continues. These steps will be taken for the second occurrence of the infraction. Upon being sent to the office for the third time, the student will receive a 3-strike and a strike 3 and may receive corporal punishment. Parents will be notified that the child is being paddled. The student will be taken into an office and the door closed. The student will be placed on their knees, will place their hands on their knees or a piece of furniture and will be struck on the buttocks with a paddle. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, it's going to be done under the guidance of an adult supervisor, so you know.
Well, that's okay, because I'm sure perverts won't take advantage of that.
Nope. Just gives me.
Anyway.
Yeah. So from that, I don't know how to transition, but Kevin, you've got a story for us, a bit of a rant that you want to tell us.
From the use of paddles to the use of rackets. There we go.
Hey, there you go. We're talking about Mario Tennis now?
We're going to be talking tangentially about sport, but mainly about politics. The Serena Williams sexism/racism issue going on in tennis at the moment. Quick bit of background, if I got my notes open. There we go. On Sunday, Serena Williams met Naomi Osaka in the final of the US Open in Flushing Meadows, which is in New York City. New York State, America, Earth, for any interstellar male.
I'm there.
Yes, during which there was some infraction between her. You're not supposed to communicate with your coach during the major tournaments, so she was issued a code violation and docked 1 point in the game. Upon which she called the umpire a thief. No, and later smashed a racket on the floor. For all of that, she was docked. She actually was docked a game in the match, which she eventually ended up losing. And this was clearly one of the reasons that she did lose. And she was eventually fined $17,000 as well, which is not the end of the world necessarily. But I've got a list now, a significant list of ways in which tennis has been hypocritical and sexist about this. Firstly, the rule about not communicating with your coach was broken earlier in the tournament where Andy Murray and Fernando Verdasco were playing and they had a heat break because of the extreme heat. Verdasco's coach went into the room with Fernando and actually had a conversation with him. Neither he or the coach were fined anything, including no points and no money. Yes. Things I've got a list now of things that men have said to umpires for which they would have received absolutely no punishment as well. Andy Roddick, the now retired US star, said, "I've regrettably said much worse, and I've never gotten a game penalty." John McEnroe once said on court to a umpire, "Go fuck your mother." He was not docked any points, games, or fined any money. Andy Murray kicked a ball which ended up hitting the umpire in the fucking head, which was not his intention, but still happened. Nothing happened. He didn't receive any fine whatsoever. And Jimmy Connors, a really strange one. In 1991, in a game, he had a dispute with an umpire over a call and began to repeatedly refer to the umpire as an abortion. Jimmy Connors received no fine, either points, games, or financial, for any of that.
And the judge was...
Pardon?
The judge wasn't a woman, was it? It was a man judging the game?
The umpire
was it a woman
yes.
judging?
Yeah.
A judge.
Yeah.
Kristi, a judge.
This comes.
Even I know that it's an umpire. Come on.
Yeah. It was the male umpire. And
I was thinking line judges.
Officious one. Yeah, they are. Yeah, line judges are a thing. So yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's that's one element of sexism, but it doesn't just stop there. Obviously, the French Open earlier in the year. You may have heard about the Black Panther catsuit affair, where Serena Williams, who's just coming back from having had her first child at the age of 31, 32, something like that. She was wearing a Black Panther type suit, which is basically a skin tight black onesie, if you will. Known as a catsuit in honor of the Black Panther movie, the Wakanda thing. The French Open, which had never had a dress code before. It's like, you know, when you watch Wimbledon and they're all in white, completely in white, that's because they've got a dress code. The French Open had never had a dress code to this point. This is why you see them wearing all various different types of colours, and it's all very flowery and all the rest of it. They introduced a dress code specifically to refuse her, allowing her to wear that particular thing. But that was definitely not racism, honest.
No.
I also saw Billie Jean came out. King said that you know, part of the reason that she was wearing the suit was for health purposes, and I don't know if that's true or not. But she did almost die again because she's a black woman.
She'd had her child and was coming back, and there was all sorts of.
She had some like women in terms of post delivery problems, and she kind of had to like insist with the doctor, admit me because something's wrong. And yeah, so that's otherwise she was going to die from that condition.
Yeah, so and that would have
anyway
helped, but she found a workaway around it and actually still remained stylish. She wore a fantastic equivalent thing, but with one arm missing from the thing. It was brilliant. And actually, the US Open was even better. She wore a big black tutu. It was fantastic. I thought it was brilliant, and she played really well and got to the final and all the rest of it. Anyway,
why the hell should it matter what you wear when you're playing tennis? Oh, yeah.
Well, it shouldn't really. Beyond indecency, which clearly this isn't an issue. It shouldn't matter at all. And like I said, the French Open had never had a dress code until this. So, and another French tennis issue which exposed sexism at the US Open this week. A French woman, Elise Cornet, or I would pronounce it Cornet, but she's French, so we'll go with Cornet. She was issued a code violation for taking her top off on court. Now, there were a few issues with this, right? Firstly, she'd gone off court because it was quite hot. She got quite sweaty, so she took a quick break, went back into the changing rooms, changed her top, came back out, realised it was on the wrong way round, which is a silly mistake, but whatever. So she decided to just quickly take the top off, turn it round, put it back on, like 10 seconds.
With her sports bra.
Yeah, well, I would argue it's more than just a sports bra. It was a kind of sport, like basically covered the whole top half of her chest, right? You couldn't see anything.
Top T.
There was no wardrobe malfunction scenario taking place here. There was nothing remotely sexual about it.
There was no Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl.
No.
Indeed. That was literally the reference I was making to there. But yes, okay. Thank you.
I'm glad I can make that explicit for you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, she was fined for that. Not fined for that. Sorry, she was issued a code violation. Now, technically, under the rule, and it was very, very specific, she was absolutely fine. They issued an apology the next day. But the problem was, 2 days before, a man called John Isner, an American playing Juan Martín del Potro, changed his shirt in exactly the same manner 11 times. Not once was he issued a code violation. And Novak Djokovic, only the day afterwards, changed his shirt 4 fucking times on court. And again, no code violation was issued. And this has sparked a huge sexism row where clearly the tennis officialdom are clamping down on women in a way that they're just not with the men. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That is fucked.
And on horrifically racist and slightly sexist note, do you want to take a look at a really racist Australian cartoon about the situation?
Oh, God, yeah, sure. I've seen it.
Yes.
The number of times that Serena had to deal with that kind of shit. And it's just like, on her, like, good morning, Joe.
Kristi.
Yeah, I can do that. A bunch of white people sitting around going, she really should have kept her calm. She like, you know, she's playing, it wasn't just the one thing. It was like, you know, building up and all of this stuff. And she was being treated unfairly. And yeah, it's too bad it happened in that game. But, you know, to sort of, yeah, I just sort of like all of the white splaining, how she should have felt and how she should have handled herself was just, especially as you point out, Kevin, that men don't get called on this. People just go,
yeah, there's a huge sexism problem with it. It's ridiculous.
It's just so fucking racist.
And this is one of the most ridiculously racist things,
yeah.
which has been defended in Australia. Now, you can obviously...
Are you screen sharing?
I am screen sharing, yes.
I can see it.
Oh, you know what? I dropped mine down to audio only because, never mind, I'm just stupid. Go ahead.
Anyway, I think everyone can see. I don't really even need to explain why that is, but racist, clearly. Like, I mean, she basically looks like some sort of weird tiki mask person or something. It's really very, very Jim Crow-esque, cartoon-esque.
Like minstrelsy.
Yeah, and she's been drawn as if she's a fucking sumo wrestler as well, when she's actually one of the prime athletes that's ever existed. But whatever. But she's slightly chunky.
Have you seen her dance? Have you seen her dance in that Beyonce video?
Yeah, I mean,
oh my gosh.
She's in a Beyonce video?
You don't even... She's the greatest female tennis player ever. She doesn't need to prove her physique to anybody on any level, but yet she's been disrespected in this way. Ridiculous. And like I say, phenomenally racist that. But one overlooked aspect of this, right, is the whitewashing here, right? Because for a start, you're making the umpire look good. Can you just let her win? He was the antagonist. He was the prick in all of this. And secondly, this person is supposed to represent Naomi Osaka, who is Japanese. Whereas in this cartoon, she's clearly white, blonde-haired, and she's the one that's being put upon, the poor white person. She's Japanese. What the fuck? Oh, anyway.
And the little baby dummy in the bottom there as well. The whole
well, that's. I mean, it was sexist enough as it was, like without even if they hadn't done the racist elements of it, it was still sexist to have taken that stance. But that wouldn't have made like massive headlines or anything because, wow, Australians being sexist, who would have thunk it? But yeah, that was just...
Yeah,
it was like a Jim Crow era cartoon. Phenomenal.
And has there been, like, is the artist still employed? Is he...
Yeah, his name is Mark Knight. And not only is he still employed, his paper came out and said it was nothing racial about it. It's ridiculous.
It's one of those like tabloid.
So fuck you to the Herald Sun. Just
If you're ever in Australia, don't buy it.
Nope.
Yeah. And if you're ever in Britain, don't buy the Sun. Just avoid papers with Sun in the title. I think it's generally a good rule.
Can I take it back to this paneling thing for a minute? Someone made a really good point just as we were coming on to this is what about kids with learning disabilities and autism and things like that, where they find it a lot more difficult to fit into quote unquote traditional educational frameworks, and their inability to cope with that, especially at a younger age, can often be misconstrued as just a troubled child, or a naughty kid or whatever. And I can see that those kids being heavily, quote unquote, punished by this this kind of thing more so than just other kids. I think that's kind of sad as well.
Right, the psychological abuse element of it is heightened.
Just that I feel like those kids would be more likely, but because under a traditionalist schooling system, those kids are they kind of fall by the wayside, and often are, like I say, thought of as just like naughty kids without the understanding of how mental illness or autism or learning disabilities kind of affect a child, and how being in these systems can lead to them acting out or having a lot of issues, and that just leading them down a path of being beaten, basically. It's kind of sad to me.
Yep. That was actually the end of our stuff, really.
Yeah.
So that was, but we can't really end on a downer, so we have to go off into some sort of tangent.
I had a funny thing I could say as well.
Boobies.
We just want. Have you guys seen this TV show called Friday Night Dinner?
Yes, absolutely brilliant show. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. So we just watched this one episode where, so you know the character Jim, and he takes some sort of medication for something or other, but he comes into the house and he's accidentally taken the dog's sedating pill things. Wilson's his dog, which he's terrified
Yeah, Wilson. Yeah, he's terrified of the dog, even though the dog is not remotely like vicious in the slightest.
And he's got these pills, and he takes the sedating thing, and so he's just sort of wandering around their house being sedated, and he lies down in the bed, and they're like, oh god, we can't, because he's sleepwalking or whatever, and they're like, we can't wake him up, it'll fuck him up, and he lies in the bed, and then he sits up and he just says, I am made completely out of boobies. Just lies down.
Oh, it's a lot.
It's such a Kristi, you need to watch the show. It's absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it on Netflix?
Brilliant.
No,
it's a Channel 4 series, if that helps.
Yeah,
is that on Netflix? I don't know.
It's got the guy from, it's got Will from the In-Betweeners in it, and it's got the woman who's Fran in Black Books, and she's also on West Wing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
Great.
It's very, very funny. Very, very funny.
Yeah.
And the dad is an amazing character. It's
the dad,
so otherworldly, very funny.
I know, he's ridiculous, and Jim is just I lost my.
Where's my tin of meat?
Hello.
Unless you've seen that specific episode, you won't get. But I'm not explaining that shit. I don't need
so
to.
Good. So
I'm not here
good.
for your fucking entertainment. Well, actually, that literally is sort of what I'm here for. Yeah.
When Jim comes over and because he thinks they're Jewish, right? And so he's like,
no, he doesn't think they are Jewish. That's
what I'm saying. That they are Jewish, but he thinks that he knows what all their like traditions and stuff are, and he's just like, "Shalom, everyone!" And then he picks up a plate and throws it at the wall.
Oh god! Very amusing.
Well, so speaking of good comedy, when are we going to do this Rick and Morty marathon? Because Kevin you finished it now, right?
I've finished the entire thing. Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty much free now until MythCon, and then again I'll be home in New Zealand a lot.
You say at home in New Zealand. Is New Zealand even your home anymore?
I mean,
you're either in America or on a fucking ship, like a pirate.
Yeah. New Zealand is home for like a couple of months out of the year usually.
It's where he votes.
Yeah, New Zealand is where you winter.
Yeah, exactly. It's where I winter. It's where I vote and I pay taxes. That's about it.
No,
yes, you should definitely vote if you're paying taxes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, we should do that.
Is great, by the way. She's awesome.
Young Jacinta.
Young Jacinta. Yeah, I saw this great video over the other day where like there was a protest going on outside Parliament for something. It was for schooling or something like that. And normally, people protest outside the Parliament or whatever. But she was obviously inside and saw them and came down and just gave this really, really lovely speech off the cuff. Just to I was like, oh.
And didn't she just had a baby as well, which is fucking.
I know. Yep. Yeah.
Imagine being the leader of a country and just like, I'm just going to have a baby and back to the office.
Off I go, back to the office. Here we are.
You can pop a baby out at lunchtime and be back by 2. Let's call it a soft 2:30.
That's how we do it in New Zealand, man. It's just get on with it.
Yeah, just had a baby. Yeah.
Mate, just pop out a couple of kids at lunchtime, mate. Just around for a cup of tea.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just going to sign a treaty. Yeah.
Old Zealand is in Denmark. Someone asked. It's in Denmark. Yeah, it's called Zealand. Yeah. Someone asked. Hey, speaking of Rick and Morty, so the hat that I've got that says it's time to get swifty on it, right?
The one that you got stolen from you by a cat.
By a cat, exactly. You were cat.
That's
right.
Cat
cooked.
Holy shit! It was so funny. We went to this cat cafe. There's a cat cafe in Brooklyn, and they've got cats and they've got rats and they've got hamsters and turtles. But anyway, there was this cat there, and its name was London.
That's the weirdest little zoo they've got going on there.
I know, it was great. It's so cool. It's this amazing place. And anyway, this cat called London, and she's a 3-legged cat. And I had my hat on a chair. I came over. She was just sitting in it. And she didn't. I would keep going to grab it and get it back, and she was like, no, she wasn't having it. So she'd taken my hat. Anyway, point was, I was having a hangout with my mum, like talking on Skype, and I had the hat on, and she looked and she's like, Michael, what's 50? 50? What is that? What is that? And so I had to explain to Mum what getting 50 was. And in fact, I had a guy in the street come up to me and ask as well. I was wearing this hat. We went to see Waitress, the musical, and we were standing in the line. And this guy came up and he's like, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. He was just a random dude in the street. He goes, what's Swifty? And so I had to explain to him what getting Swifty is.
Well, I do hope he screamed geek in your face.
Nerd!
Exactly. Did you get pantsed?
Did I get pantsed? Luckily, no. I was wearing a skirt, so it was okay.
That's all I want to know.
Did give me a squirt? Yeah, just a dunking down the toilet.
Exactly. Old school.
Old school.
They probably don't even use toilets in schools nowadays. Young people.
Just give them a good paddle when it comes out.
Exactly. They just physically assault them with bits of wood. Fantastic.
Oh, God.
See, this is what he's like every week. Oh, yeah. I'm just rambling.
No, well, it could be worse. The last joke I did on last week's show, or the last show we did, was me looking at the silver lining of being put in a concentration camp. So,
oh, that's pleasant.
Basically, I surmised that the one silver lining would be that I'd lose some weight. So, I mean, it could be worse, Kristi. Can't you fucking blessings?
I just want you to know that when I upload it as a podcast, I tick that box for age inappropriate content or whatever it is.
I don't even challenge the demonetization anymore. Bollocks to it.
Geez.
There's no point. There's just no point.
No. Have you guys seen The Thing? The movie The Thing?
No.
It's great. You should watch it. We watched it. It's one of these like late or mid 80s horror movies with just like fantastic physical. You know, like it's not CGI effects. It's all like physical effects. They've made these amazing, you know, monsters and creations and things like this, and it's just fantastic. It's a really, really good movie. Worth watching.
Have you seen Cloverfield?
I've heard that it's good.
Yes,
it is good. That is all.
Is that the super shaky, right?
Yeah,
it's all hand cam. Yeah, that can get a little bit motion sickness. That's getting a bit swifty with it.
The version of The Thing, I think it's 1986.
For what
maybe?
It's worth, 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Fun.
I'll have to watch it. I've watched quite a few horror movies in the last little while. It was good.
If you want to watch a good movie that's going to blow your mind, you haven't seen it already, watch Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kung Fu Panda.
I thought you were going to say Kung Pao. Have you seen Kung Pao?
No, but you have to watch. That is on Netflix.
Okay, I'll watch Kung Fu Hustle if you watch Kung Pao. Kung Pao it'll blow your mind. It's like it's made basically by one dude. And it's like just footage from old Chinese kung fu movies, but he's just overdubbed them and put himself in it, and it's the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life. It's great.
Is that on YouTube or on Netflix?
I don't know if it's on Netflix, but I know it's like I saw it when I was in high school, as like a DVD or whatever. What did I say? It was Kung Pao. Kung Pao.
All right. I can't even describe Kung Fu
Hustle. He fights a cow. He has a kung fu fight with a cow and ends up defeating it by like milking it dry.
Oh, I was gonna ask, what kind of moves can a fucking cow have in a kung fu fight? It's not an animal.
No, this
They're
one does.
Utterly amazing, Kevin.
All I'm gonna say
utterly amazing.
We're gonna have a cow in some sort of Oriental martial arts situation. Sumo.
Well, no, this one was jumping all over the place and doing like.
Well, it's not a proper cow then. It's some sort of fucking mental. Maybe Alex Jones is right. They're breeding kung fu cows. They're putting chemicals in the grass, in the cud.
Come on, guys. Are we really not gonna? Are we not gonna milk this for all it's worth?
Oh God, come on. Oh,
maybe this show needs to be put out to pasture.
Yeah.
You guys are really shaking things
sumo,
up.
But I think they called it Mumo.
That's pretty fucking cheesy. Come on.
Oh.
Anyways, for more of that shit, join us next time.
Yeah, I guess it's the end of the show. So, Michael, is there anything you want to shout out? You going to do anything on your channel in the near future?
Yeah, I'm still working on my essay for Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm doing a video about, like, I've just been at camp and everything, so I haven't been able to write much stuff. But I'm also doing a video about the giants from Dark Souls 2, like the story of the giants. I'm doing a video about the mystery sound from the Zelda video games. Like, there's a little sound that happens every time you like unlock a mystery, and it's constant across the games, and it's a really interesting little motif. So I'm going to be doing a thing about that. And the last thing I'm going to be doing is how to vocally harmonize using Fleetwood Mac as an example. So there you go, Kevin. That's a thing that you,
Love it.
So
Mind
yeah,
you, I'll be over that by tomorrow, so I'll probably be onto some sort of completely different thing.
Onto different horizons.
Or reggae or so, I don't know, whatever.
All right. Well, and also thanks for coming on to the happy hour.
Oh, so much fun. It's so great to talk to you guys again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It has been a long time, yes. Yeah.
So how about you, Kevin?
You've been making a valuable contribution to the lives of young people, so
yeah, I know.
Thank you.
I'm a terrible person.
What have you uploaded recently, Kevin?
I was
really good video that you did.
White supremacist hip hop. That was fun.
Oh,
what was that other one you did that I really liked?
No Plum.
No Plum, yeah. No Plum is about as funny as Bone Cancer. That was another
there was one before that as well. There was another one.
For fuck's sake, I don't know, Michael. Why can't you remember? Why am I supposed to remember what you like?
Because I specifically commented on how I liked the format, because I really liked the format.
Yes, the Nike is shit, but not because Colin Kaepernick.
That's the one. Yeah. That was really good.
I did lots of jump cuts where I was changing position forward and back and across the screen and stuff. Like sort of early. Was it? What was his name? Frank Zay or whatever his fucking name was.
Tazonde?
No, but Chocolate Rain.
Chocolate Rain. He follows me on Twitter.
You're followed by Chocolate fucking Rain.
Yes, I am.
Why have I not been told this before? This is big news, motherfucker.
I know, it's crazy. I think he just follows a lot of people, to be honest.
Probably.
Can I ask a question really quickly?
Yeah, why not?
You know, on YouTube, they've got this feature now where you can like send out messages, and it comes up on, like, if you're subscribed to someone, that you can put out like messages on.
Yeah, if you're American.
Is it only an American thing?
All of my subscribers to fuck off. Oh, that'd be amazing.
So it's only an American thing at the moment. Okay.
Pretty sure. The only people I see doing it are Americans. And I can't
I've seen Ed Sheeran do it, but I mean, I assume Ed Sheeran has an American.
Exactly. Ed Sheeran's fucking massive, so
he gets to do whatever he wants on YouTube.
Ed Sheeran.
You don't say no to the sheer bomb.
And
that, by the way, that was not a rape joke. I mean, literally, you don't say no to his YouTube or anything like that. So
he's great.
Just went a bit like Partridge there.
On that sheer bombshell. We're going to wrap it up, you guys. So thanks to everybody in the chat for participating. Also, thank you for
the chat.
Yeah, I have to always prompt them because they forget otherwise. Thanks for your participation in the group, and it was really good answers, you guys. So let's keep this up. I kind of like this interactive part since we most ignore you.
No. I don't remember ever inviting democracy into this situation. It's always been autocratic rule, the two of us. No, that's not.
I'm the mom.
Totalitarianism.
You're like the authoritarian dad.
What does that make me?
I'm saying, just go ahead and do it.
So
you're like the annoying little brother.
Are we there yet?
Yeah. So were you going to say something, Kevin?
Oh no,
Let's do Rick and Morty.
Never mind.
He keeps getting interrupted.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Fuck you, Mike.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, do all that. So, thanks out to the chat. Thanks to the people watching in the future. Go to Kevin's his channel. Go to Michael's channel. Subscribe to both of them.
I have been Kristi. Michael and subscribe to me. That's how that works.
Listen to my song about Roche V. Listen to it. Roche V, purveyor of Boucherie.
You two have been a handful.
That's what he said.
Nice. So say goodbye, Michael.
Goodbye, Michael.
Say goodbye, handful. Apples.
Goodbye Handful of Apples, which is a weird
That's a
reference that we've not actually made any reference to that, so no one's going to get
Go
that
check
unless you
out his
follow
Twitter and his picture of apples.
I
His
had
big
two,
apples.
basically, my dad has an allotment, and he brought me around really specifically for no fucking reason 2 massive cooking apples. And
I did see those.
Yeah.
And you had them both in your hand.
Joke, but I just thought, no, I'm actually just going to cook them. I'm actually going to use them.
Wow.
Which allowed me to find the GIF for how do you like them apples? So.
Well, indeed.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
Not a tortured genius. Absolutely.
Say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Now you do the bit. Now.